Hey, this is Terry Bean. Another fun, exciting episode of Business Growth Time, where today I'm joined by Paulino Brener, our special guest, and with me, as always, Janet E. Johnson, where the E stands for Elemental, which is a Tears for Fears album. I saw Tears for Fears
Oh,
last night. Elemental. What's up, Janet?
that was good. Nice and creative. That was good. Well done. Well done.
I could have gone
Well,
to a Hall and Oates song. I saw them too. Hall and Oates dating ourselves yet once again early on in the show.
it's so true. It's so true. And as you will notice throughout the interview, I don't have much of a voice, but that's not just because the concert. It's just I've been losing my voice a lot lately, as you would, as if people listen to the show often, they know it's quite often I've been losing my voice. So.
Yes, no more tea for you.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
so introduce your pal Paulino, so we know who we're talking to and what we're talking about. I'm anxious.
I know. Terry doesn't have a clue, and I love doing that to Terry. It's always fun.
Paulino must be important, though, because I saw questions. I've never seen questions.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Forethought went into the show. I'm impressed.
Oh, that's good. Well, let's get to it. Paulino, I've actually go back with a few years probably, and he's from he lives in the Minnesota area too. So another Minnesota guy. And he is a Spanish teacher online and a founder of the Online Teacher Summit, which is what we are going to be talking about today. And that was a virtual conference for online language teachers looking to start or improve their business online. Very niched. Awesome to have you, Paulino. So welcome, Paulino.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It looks like the party already started, so I'm going to try to do my best to join the party here.
Awesome. Yeah, exactly. But you were part of the party last night too, so yeah, on Facebook. There you go.
Yeah, Janet went live. Yeah, that's true.
Yes. Well, we have to do this live thing, and Paulino's really, really awesome with technology and embracing all this live stuff and Google Hangouts. And correct, Paulino? That's kind of your area.
Yeah, I love playing with technology and breaking things online because then I don't have to have broken things around me, but online I can break anything.
All right, that's a smart approach.
It is. That's awesome. So I was part of this summit, and I I love to be, when I do summits or even online courses, or I was part of a coaching group, anything like that, I like to watch the behind the scenes, not only what's going on, in the front end of it, but how is it working behind the scenes. So as I was part of the summit, I was just kind of watching the steps that Paulino was taking to do this. So this is kind of what I want to get into, Paulino, just kind of the whole back end stuff of running one of these online summits. I mean, answer this first off. It had to have been a ton of work. Am I right?
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna move the curtain to look at not this one, because you don't want to see the mess behind that. But I will allow you to move my virtual curtain
Nice.
and see the wizard behind it. Definitely, it was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun as well.
Mm-hmm.
Part of it was, let me tell you a little bit about how I got into it.
Yeah.
As we talked before, I am an educator. My main thing is I teach Spanish, but in the process of teaching Spanish, I also became into the social media world, and I was working with social media clients for a while, and that's how we met in networking events and stuff like that. But working with clients, most of what I did was also education, and that's what I love doing. So what I found is that working with other online language teachers is that there was a void of people, first of all, getting together. Teachers who work online, they are at home by themselves. They don't have the teacher lounge that they can go into a school. And also, there are not as many conferences or places where you can go to complete professional development, to do professional development. So that's how the idea came about of the Online Teacher Summit, as you mentioned, a virtual conference. I love conferences, the energy that you get by meeting people and hearing new stuff and get energized with that. And that's how it came about. And also it was part of my professional development to work with these other teachers in new ideas, new ways of doing things that I've done before. That's how it all kind of started. So we can
Cool.
go into some more details.
Yeah, no, I love
Very
it.
good.
I love it. Yeah. Well, we did have some questions pre-set up. So I did ask why you decided to do it. So that's kind of why you decided to do it. And what was your goal with doing it? What in the end?
Yeah, at the moment that I started thinking about it, I was doing my own professional development. Working with a business coach, and I'm still doing that. But I wanted to make that process also a little more social and more collective. So I did reach out to other online teachers with more experience, not only in the teaching aspect of doing it online, but also on the business aspect of being an online teacher. And I thought, well, since I am doing all this effort of contacting these teachers, I'm sure there might be other teachers as well who would benefit from that. And asking around, everybody was saying yes, 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 yes. And that's how the idea became a virtual conference. So my goal was, at first, a little, selfish. I wanted to improve my business by picking the mind of all these other experts. But then I saw that there was a need for a space where other online language teachers could learn about these different aspects, specifically about the business aspect of doing being an online language teacher. And my main goal was to create that space, benefit myself from that expertise, but creating this space and this community that together, in the big group, can improve together and move forward together. Because I strongly believe that you can connect with a couple of people and you can get good things, but the more you connect with a diversity of experiences, of ideas, the more you can benefit from that diversity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think that's so important. One of our friends and former guest, Charlie Wahlberg, the guy that puts on TEDx Detroit with me here, in our great team, talks about, from a marketing perspective, he never works with the same type of client because he likes to bring in all the different ideas from the different markets and the different targets that they're going after, because that exposure you get is so valuable. If you're doing the same thing the same way as everybody else, it becomes so homogenous, and that doesn't relate to mass. It relates to very tiny. So I like what you're saying there. It's a great way for growth.
Another goal that I also had was, I always been connected with other teachers in my area by going to conferences in person. I wanted to create that experience online and kind of planting the seed for my future as a professional development, and becoming not just online language teachers for people who want to learn Spanish, but helping other language teachers. I was not completely ready to jump as I'm going to create a course and work with teachers by myself, but I wanted to start that space a little bit. And now that I brought together all these experts and I have this community around me, I can feel more comfortable and start working with other online teachers and helping them, because they might be at a different space where I am, and helping them in growing their business, in teaching online.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's such a great niche. I mean, it's just different. Like, I would not have thought of that niche, and how many people you actually reached. I mean, in the end, how many people did you have involved with the summit? Quite a few.
Yes, yes. Yes, definitely. I did a kind of like a mini pre-launch. I have this generic page for a while saying, this is coming, sign up if you want. So I did have an opt-in for a while. And
what's a while?
Yeah,
Break that down a little bit.
Yeah.
So how
And
long would you say?
I would say I started that beginning of January. I have that page. The summit was the first week of April. So for about two months, it was just a page saying, this is coming, kind of shy. And that gathered about 150 registration or pre-registration.
Wow.
Nice.
Was it a paid for event, free event?
So the model was a free conference, free virtual summit. You could watch all the presentations. The majority of them were pre-recorded, and they were for 4 to 5 each day. And you have 48 hours to watch each recording.
Okay.
And after that, it will drop and you go to a membership site that you can pay for and have premium access for live. Now, those 150 registration, I was pretty excited, you know. I didn't do anything. I just had this page once in a while, sharing on Twitter, 150. But my mind was blown away when the actual registration came in, because the actual registration came in not with just a shy opt-in page, but it came with all the faces of 25 experts presenting and the idea of getting together as a summit. So in the end, as of now, I collected or gathered 3,500 people in my email list.
Wow.
In 1 week.
I'm making the I'm impressed face for those of us not watching.
I knew Terry would like that.
Yeah, no kidding. That's pretty sweet. Well, this, Janet, I mean, candidly, this is a conversation that you and I had in December.
We have had this conversation.
Right? We were talking about building this thing, so it's kind of nice that Paulino is laying out the game plan. Now, whether or not we actually execute on said
it's always, it's, you know, projects get in the way, and, you know, then we go other directions. So, but we have had this discussion. That's interesting.
Work in the way of the work.
So that's awesome. So 3,500, new people to your email list. Plus, in addition to that, you did a group. How many people are in that Facebook group of yours, too?
More than 1,000 for sure, but I can tell you exactly, because exact numbers, 1,173 members as of now.
Nice. Nice.
And we know that always not everyone will follow through, but it's it became pretty popular during the summit. It was very active. The main purpose was to create actually this communication and people engagement that we didn't get because we're not together in a room. And now it just you know, it's a place where people can still share ideas. I have few ideas to engagement in it until the next summit.
Exactly. Now you have that core audience already. Plus you're 35. I mean, obviously there's an overlap with the email list too, but that's quite the amount of people that you could build upon again and again and again. I'm actually in shock there in that little niche that there's the 3,500.
We are talking about global. So these are literally people from all over the world. Maybe later I'll show the map. I gathered information from Aweaver, which is the email list that I was using, and mapped it out, and it's dots everywhere in the world. So maybe later I will do a quick sharing here. That was really nice too. I'm from Argentina. I live in the United States, so I don't live in the country where I was born. I love learning languages and cultures. So connecting with people from all over the world was a really neat and great experience.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. So speaking of that, how did you get to the people? Like, what were your methods of marketing? You mentioned Twitter and you had a page up, but what other things did you do? The group too,
definitely,
obviously.
I worked with a group of people who already have their audience in that space. So most of the speakers were or are online teachers who, most of them either have two niches, one working with learners in a specific language and working with online teachers. So most of the speakers already have an audience of online teachers or people who want to become online teachers. So I was able to capture some of their audience as well, because they presented and brought their audience. I had connections in the past with other online language teachers by working in different marketplaces, connections you make by just socializing with your colleagues online and exchanging ideas. Actually, from those connections that I had previously, and for those that I have connections either through Facebook or emails, I did create an audience in Facebook, and I did run a small campaign from that audience and lookalike audience. So
Got it.
I did
Nice.
utilize some of that data to create an audience and a lookalike audience, and one of my campaigns was targeting that audience.
Cool. Okay, so you did some ads too. Nice. Okay. Wow. So you had that. Yeah, and that makes sense. You ended up really leveraging the audiences of others in the niche. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
My other question for you, go ahead, Terry, if you have a question, and then I have another one.
No, go ahead.
I have many questions.
Yeah. Let me share with you. Let me share with you quickly.
Sure.
If you can see this map right here.
Holy measles. Oh, wait, that's not measles. That's where they...
It might look like measles, but each orange dot is, it's a geolocation taken from the...
there's 5 in Australia. There's at least 25 through Africa. There's another 35 in South America. There's hundreds throughout Europe.
Exactly.
India's got 25 to 30. China, Russia, every country I see here. Okay, not every country, but a lot of them are represented. United States, Mexico, Canada. I like calling it Canada.
Canada.
You're a little light in Greenland. I really.
Now we need to point out these are locations that that I did it with Google Maps that I was able to locate through the information from the registration. So it's not actually all of them, but it's a very good sample. So it's really amazing to see when you see it visually like this.
That's cool.
So there we are. Those are my participants for
today.
That's cool.
Paulino. Hey, so Janet said I could ask a question, and I have interests that are slightly different than hers, and I like where hers are, but I want to know what took you from Argentina to Minnesota. What? Did you get lost? Was it like a left turn at Albuquerque?
Yeah, I took a wrong turn. Well, I am a language teacher, and I came to Minnesota to teach Spanish. Okay. There is a organization called Concordia Language Villages. So shout out to Concordia Language Villages that their main program are summer camps, and they are immersion. So they have about 14, maybe 15 right now, different languages. So you can send your kids to learn a language and being immersed in the language and the culture.
Cool.
That's how I came here to Minnesota.
How long ago was that?
Minnesota, he's got the I totally have that toe.
So the first time I came here was 1998 to do that, to work at the
Okay. Oh, awesome, wow. Awesome. Wow.
All right,
yeah, that is cool.
Go back to hammering him about the stuff that he cares
about. Tools. We want to talk tools. What did you use for, you talked about Aweber. You've mentioned a couple, the Facebook groups, obviously, but what I know I've asked you some of the things for, because you had affiliates, so then he had to pay out affiliates and they had to have their own links, all those little details. So go into those little details.
Well, obviously I'm not the first person doing a virtual summit.
No.
So I was kind of proud of myself that I didn't buy any courses. There are some people who offer courses to do virtual summits, and at the time, I was not sure if it was going to go through with it. You have an idea and you're excited, but sometimes life takes over. So I was a little hesitant. But then I started studying different summits and how they were done, and trying to understand some of the technology they used and their funnels and all that kind of stuff. So I said, I'll try to kind of reverse engineer what these people are doing, because I think I learn more in the process. I mean, you can buy a course that tells you step by step. How many people that buy courses actually look at them and go step by step? But if I have to,
I know, because I have a course and half the people haven't gone through it.
so I said, if I have to, sit down and figure it out how it is done, I think I learn much more. And it's actually the way that I like to learn. I'm a
That's cool.
good teacher, but I'm not a good student. So I did have experience with some of the tools that I used, like building a WordPress website. I use OptimizePress as the theme that allowed me to organize it a little easier, and to copy and paste some parts of pages to do in others to replicate that. Now, the main thing is to handle the members and the membership side and the affiliate. And I look at many different options, and they're very expensive. Luckily, for many years ago, I had this idea of building a membership site that I never did. And I bought a product called Digital Access Pass. It's a plugin for WordPress that allows you to build a membership site like many other plugins. The difference is with this plugin is that you buy it once. You don't have to pay monthly.
It's nice. Mm-hmm.
And that plugin allowed me to gate the pages or the content whenever it was not available to people anymore. The same plugin has an affiliate feature. So I didn't have
That's
to.
cool.
I didn't have to get anything extra for that. I just needed to integrate that plugin with Aweber to handle the emails, and I actually used two payment systems, Stripe and PayPal. I wanted to have both options. A lot of online language teachers use PayPal, but I wanted to have another option to pay by credit card as well.
Got it.
So those were the main tools. Now, in terms of things related to the summit, like promotions, obviously I was using maybe Buffer to schedule social media posts, Canva, and I also have UZign with a Z, UZign.com. It's kind of similar to Canva. It's a paid product to create the visuals. They were not the best in the world, but I did it all myself. So I was very...
they were great. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. So those are some of the tools that I use for the visual elements, since, you have to create this presence of pictures of people and their profiles and stuff like that. So you have to create a lot of images to promote and have this virtual presence
You do.
of all these people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So is it right for me to deduce that you had an audience of folks who teach languages online, and Janet came in and taught those folks how to leverage Facebook or possibly Pinterest, maybe Instagram, on how to gain more audience through probably targeted advertising? Is that what the heck's going on here? Because we're 25 minutes in. I'm still lost.
That's more or less it. So Janet came and she spoke specifically about finding audiences through video, Facebook video in particular, and how to utilize that. So what I found when I was asking not only existing online language teachers, but language teachers who wanted to get to teach online, that they could start figuring out the method of how to actually do a class online, but the business aspect, how to handle scheduling, how to get payment, how to build a business around it and have a system so that it is sustainable to do business online as a language teacher. That was the aspect that was most lacking in a lot of people. So most of the focus of this conference was in that arena, in that topic. What I also found is that some existing online language teachers that knew some of that, wanted to go even further. So I tried to cut a balance between maybe topics like how to start with an email list, how to start with some a Facebook group or some marketing online, some basic foundation topics, but I wanted to provide a balance and bring some topics that were beyond that. So I have someone talking about how to start on YouTube and what to do, but I also have someone talking about YouTube analytics and how that will influence your strategy on YouTube. I have someone to talk about doing a Facebook group to create engagement, but Janet coming to utilizing the audiences of Facebook videos to create campaigns that is a little more advanced. So I did need to reach out to experts outside of the online language industry to bring some of those topics, like running webinars, creating online courses.
So smart. Really cool, man. Great job.
That's
And this
cool.
was your first one, and you kind of put it together based on gut instinct and, obviously previous experience, but it sounds really successful. Nicely done.
Thank you very much. I could say that part of the success was, it was my first time. I have to say that I did have experience with each element of the summit. I have been to conferences. I have planned conferences before in person. I have done websites on WordPress. I have done social media. I have done videos. I have done interviews. I did 30 interviews for this summit. Putting them all together was the main jump, the main leap that it was for me. Because they have to work together like gears. And that was the challenge.
Sweet.
Let's talk about the timeline that you had, because we've talked about the tool. You have the tools in place. Now the next phase is how you had to get this all put together. So I know you batched it, and did it. So explain how you did the interviews, where you did the interviews, and then how you pushed it out there.
Right. So as I mentioned before, a lot of the content, the presentations in the conference were recorded, and a few were live. That was mainly because it's hard to have 30 people commit to a specific time during 1 week. But we did have some live sessions to create the engagement. This all, when I make the commitment, let's say, was Black Friday 2016. And I remember that because I said, it's Black Friday. Everything it was either Black Friday or what's the Monday called?
Cyber Monday.
Cyber Monday, yeah.
It was one of those two. I think it was both of them. I think on Black Friday, I got the domain Online Teacher Summit, and on Cyber Monday, I bought a few more other extra things for it. That's when I made the commitment. I got the domain, and the idea started. I started contacting the speakers throughout December and make arrangements. So basically, it took the whole month of December to decide what technology I was going to use, what topics like the content area, and start getting the speakers and making commitments and scheduling the interviews. I took the whole month of January to do the interviews because during January, I was still doing a test. I ran a couple of tests with a person that I started with, and also finalizing the interviews. During February, as I said, I did about 30 interviews. I did use YouTube Live to record the interviews, so Hangout on Air. In retrospect, now I like Zoom better for interviews. It works better. So in the future, I would do that with Zoom. I think it's a little better quality. But then
we are not sponsored by Zoom. I just want
we should be.
Yeah. Take that payment now.
But I did, I did the interviews in a way that then I didn't have to edit much. So it was not like a long process. They were short, about 30 minutes, to the point. I did send some questions to my speakers beforehand. Some of them, I don't think I did send to Janet, sorry. So, but it depends on, You didn't need it, but for some of the topic, so they were to the point. So I didn't have to edit them more. As I didn't edit them a lot. As I was doing the interviews, I was putting together the profiles on the Facebook, on the WordPress site. So by the end of February, I had all the interviews. I edit them a little bit, and I concentrated on the funnels, on the emails that were going to be going out. I tried to schedule as many as possible. And I would say March 13th, so 3 weeks before the summit started, it's when the promotion campaign started.
Okay.
And so that was very intensive 3 weeks of promoting by myself and working with some of the speakers to promotion as well.
Nice. Okay. So I like it. It really was what, almost a 6-month process then?
I would say four. So
4 months. Okay.
February, March. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 4-month process. Awesome. Well, good. Well, any tips that...
Hold it. Hey, it's my turn. I've got another.
You got a question? Okay. We've got more questions for you.
This one really gets to the heart of the matter of things. So I want to make sure we get this right. So in America here, women like accents like yours. We're wondering if women in Argentina like accents like ours. We want to know. This is groundbreaking, bringing together.
I have to reel Terry in,
This is what's important. You really don't.
He doesn't know what to say.
You don't have to. I'm just having fun today.
Okay, good.
Oh, that's awesome. That's
now,
good.
Terry, I have to ask you, do you like my accent?
Of course, absolutely. I wouldn't have brought it up. It was me listening to you that made that question so important and gripping. So, of course.
Okay, so now we can say in America, men and women.
That's true.
Oh, there you go. Exactly.
Yes, very good distinction. It's not an or. It's not a they. I was having this conversation. I've been arguing with people politically still, just because it entertains me.
I know.
on Facebook, and I can't, it's not, there's no they, right? We keep referring to they, that other side, they, it's we. And as soon as we figure that out, so I like your distinction. Yes, men and women, not.
Good point.
Well
Good
done.
point. That's
all right,
great.
I'm sorry, Janet. You asked the important stuff.
Funny. Okay, well, this is pretty much my last question. Just because I just did like a webinar launch type thing, and of course, you look back and you just have to reevaluate, and you go, okay, what really worked, and what would I not do again that possibly didn't work as well? Do you have a couple takeaways?
Yeah. So for my first time, I thought I need to do it all. And I did. And it was exhausting. During the week of the summit, I don't think I slept more than 5 hours in a week, mainly because, it was at the end of the night and I was finishing up, talking to people. And then I started looking at the analytics, and it's starting to light up in other parts of the world. Of course, this is online. So I wanted to be present for them. I didn't sleep at all.
Oh my gosh.
So in retrospect, that's the part that I didn't plan as well, to have in place other people who could help at least with an aspect of the summit, in this case, maybe communication support for different time zones. And, not knowing that I was going to work with a global audience. And other than that, I think that I took a lot of time in the planning, focusing on my strengths. And I think it worked because I didn't think, I need to learn all this and all that to put it together. I said, I'm going to work with what I know and focus on putting that all together, instead of thinking, well, this is how they do summits over there. I need to learn this, blah, 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 or use this tool. I focused with what I had. And a lot of times in whatever things we do, we are always looking out and see, what our neighbors are doing better or different. And we think we need to do it the same way. So I put the bubble and focus on what I already had, the skills that I already had, the experience that I wanted to create with the summit. Once I looked at examples, I thought, this is what I'm doing, and I laser focus on all that work. And it took a lot of time, but it was focused on what I had and the experience that I wanted to create. And I stopped looking outside, because otherwise then I would always be comparing myself to what other people were doing. And I wanted to make it, unique, an experience that I was able to deliver. And that's, I think, came through. A lot of people say, oh, the summit was great. I learned a lot from the speakers, but they value my presence. And that's one of the skills that I brought to the summit, my interaction and the presence and trying to get the group together. So that's, I think it's more important than the technology and the speakers and the content. What do you bring to the table and how you can amplify that, because it's your main strength. And don't let the technology, the content get in the way of what you bring the best to the table, because then you shine, and that will bring a lot of benefits. So right now, it's not only 3,500 people in my email list. People see me as an authority in the space. People seek me out to help them develop their online business as a language teacher. So all this experience, all this hard work pays in that aspect, in that way.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're going to do another one, I assume.
Yes, actually, 2.
Oh boy!
Well, I have, a lot of, believe it or not, in that map that you see, there were a lot of people from Europe. United States was, in terms of traffic, United States was the first country in traffic. Spain was the second one. So I do need to, I want to have this experience in my mother tongue, Spanish. So the plan right now is to recreate this experience that was all in English in Spanish in September. So a similar summit, but it will be done all in Spanish.
Janet.
No. Oh, no. Not in front of time, unless you can translate.
Or you can start taking Spanish classes. I can hook you up with a good tutor.
Bueno.
Hey, you know what, though? My sister was a Spanish teacher also, so that is kind of funny. So she could talk away. That's who I was with last night, so it's kind of funny.
So my plan is to do a very similar summit in terms of format and content. Content might change a little bit, but I don't want to go crazy in a different format. Just replicate to test it out, but all with speakers presenting in Spanish. And then I'm already working on the second English summit for April 2018.
Okay. Wow. Can they get the entire summit if somebody's listening right now? Is it available?
Definitely. So kind of to go back to the beginning of this interview, kind of full circle, the summit was free during the week of April, and people had the options to upgrade to a premium pass, access to all the videos and audios and some bonuses. And that remains as a product that now I have that I can offer. So people can go there to onlineteachersummit.com, sign up, and have that options to upgrade and get all the recordings. But there is also the opportunity to be part of the community by coming into the Facebook group that is free. You don't have to pay anything, and start interacting with people who are in a similar situation as you.
And just to be clear, it was onlineteachers.plural.com, not teacher. It was multiple teachers.
There were multiple teachers in the summit, but the URL, it's only teacher. Onlineteachersummit.com.
Online
got it. It's that S at the summit. Okay.
It's not an online teacher's ummit. I got it now. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. And then what is the group called if people want to join the Facebook group?
Online Teacher Summit as well.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, and it's now that Facebook allows to have an official group to the Facebook page. So the Online Teacher Summit Facebook group is the official group of the Online Teacher Summit Facebook page.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Well, that's great because you never know who is in the audience. I was, even my people that I sent, my email list that I sent this out to, one gal replied to me and she's like, I'm so excited about this. And I'm like, I didn't know I had a teacher. You just don't know who exactly is listening. So that's, we just could be hitting those teachers right
definitely.
now too.
And also, if someone, doesn't want to be an online language teacher, but is thinking about summits, I've been actually talking to other teachers in the dance business. I have a dance teacher who said, I want to do a dance teacher summit and other experiences. So I've been talking to other people interested in doing summits. If anyone is not interested in being an online language teacher, but have more questions that we didn't cover today about doing a summit, they can feel free to contact me as well, and we can talk.
And where's the best place for them to contact you?
Facebook.com/Paulino Brener is my public figure Facebook page. And that's where anyone can find me, and that's what shows up in search as well.
One N in Brenner, Brener. Paulino spelled like you'd expect it to be spelled.
You would be surprised. Let me tell you this quick anecdote. I just graduated from college.
Oh, wait, I saw that. I have to add to that. During this entire thing, Terry, he was in school. Oh, wow. Going to college on top of it and just graduated. So congratulations.
Thank you. Well, going to school, working full time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. The summit was during my spring break. That's how I was able to be 24/7 available. So I graduated in May 1st, and the system they have at my particular university is you have a card and you give the card to the presenter, the person who introduces you. They read the names of everyone, 700 students graduating. In the card, you have the options to write it phonetically. So I did my best so that they could read my name. I actually gave the card to lots of Americans to see if they would pronounce it correctly. Everyone read the phonetic and said, Paulino Brener, Paulino Brener, Paulino Brener. Of course, I go into the stage. I don't know in what universe this person was reading the card, but he said, Paulina Brener.
No. Oh, man.
It was good.
Good thing
it was a definite.
That's good. And
definite Paulina. Yeah, Paulina.
That's not.
It was fun. It was just fun. We were just laughing about it. It was live. So you know how much, Janet, I go live, and that was my moment, and they ruined it for me.
Oh, that's too funny.
But the diploma is coming with the correct name, hopefully. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, congrats on all of that. So we appreciate you coming on to the show. And if you guys want to, we will put that in the show notes, and we can even put the little funny video you posted of the live in the show notes too. You can find us at businessgrowthtime.com/podcasts. It's all the past podcasts. And we also have a Facebook group that is Business Growth Time. I can't talk today. businessgrowthtime.xyz is our link right to the Facebook groups that you can join. Excellent. So thank you so much, Paulino. Any last words, Terry? I'm afraid to ask you, but
no, I'll be good. None at all. None at all. I enjoyed this. I think there's a lot of value. I love the process of how to put that together. I wonder if we might be able to work with Paulino on him helping us kind of do the best.
Wait, Terry, are you there?
Yeah, that was like, am I gone? Zoom froze on. So.
Oh well, we're at the end anyway. But you just disappeared for a second. So
well,
yes,
that's cool.
exactly.
I'm the one recording the show, so. Oh, wait, that's not how that works. All right. Anyway, I said a bunch of good stuff about Paulino, but only what can I tell you? Not repeating it. It's too bad.
Funny.
All right.
Great. I would be happy to work with you and brainstorm some ideas.
Awesome. Thank you, Janet. Always a pleasure. I'm glad you made it. I was worried that you were going to be trying to sleep in after your Hall & Oates hangover. And kind of cool.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Take care.